Hi guys. So tonight we're going to just do a Mabon tarot reading and oracle reading. And this is because we have just had the pagan celebration of Mabon, which is the autumnal equinox. So today, if you're watching it as of the 22nd of September, is Mabon. It is the equinox, and we are looking at an equal amount of day and night, which I'm sure you already know. So our tarot reading today is going to start off with some oracle cards. We are working first with the El Goliath tarot deck. And that tarot deck includes a set of oracle cards, which we're going to use to begin our reading. I absolutely love the backs of these cards, and I know you're going to be so excited when you actually see the images on the oracle and the tarot cards themselves. So right now, I am just turning over the first 3 cards at the top of our deck. Okay, and these are our oracle cards to kind of guide the rest of the reading. And I'm going to have you guys pick a card and also pick a bone. I know we usually do crystals on this kind of reading, but what I want to do is really get into that equinox, that autumn season vibe, and we're going to be working with bones instead of crystals today. So what I have here for the first oracle card, this is the expansion, or the shedding snake. And obviously this is going to be about change. It's going to be about letting go of past versions of yourself. The shaman here is the medicine healer. I suppose this pile would be for anyone who is looking for healing, or anyone who sees themselves as a healer or a light worker. If you're going to examine your own internal world so that you can heal yourself and work in that process, that lifelong process of healing yourself, and also offering that healing you've learned to others. And the final oracle card is the Ojibwe catcher. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Also known as the shadow dream catcher. This is going to be about your subconscious, especially the dreams that you have at night and the messages that are coming to you from those dreams and from your silent, feelings-oriented, nonverbal subconscious self, your gut feelings and your funny feelings, your nervous system responding to stimulus in the environment. So this is about the part of your mind that doesn't say things out loud, but gives you sometimes those warnings in dangerous situations, or just gives you a funny feeling about people where you're either very drawn to them or you want to stay away from them completely. So this is that kind of part of you that doesn't necessarily have a logical explanation for these feelings that you get. So here are your cards and our bones today. We have a bone die, which is carved from elk bone. We have a teeny tiny little shin bone. This is from a raccoon. This is also a raccoon bone. And this is a vertebra. Isn't that beautiful? All right, so our bone die, our raccoon shin bone, and our raccoon vertebra. So go ahead and take a minute now to pick the bone and or the oracle card that you are most drawn to, and we're going to begin shuffling the cards. Now, if you want to skip ahead I do have timestamps down below, so once you have picked your pile, you can go ahead and jump ahead to that, or you are welcome to stick around while we shuffle and deal the cards and do this process of preparation. So if you are sticking with me, thank you very much. I really do enjoy you sticking around so we can work this magic together. Now, right now, I'm just kind of focusing my intent and trying to get these cards nicely shuffled. All right. So for pile 1, 2, 3, got a little stickiness on the cards here. 1, oh, really sticky. 2 and 3. I just have to make it perfect, of course, because I'm like that. Okay, and it looks like we had a sticky, so this is our 3 cards already. And the final third card for everyone. Okay. And the last thing we're going to do is draw an oracle card for each pile. And this is just going to give us a little bit of extra clarity as to what exactly is going on with the reading that comes up in your piles. And today we are working with the Illuminated Earth Oracle deck. This is a gorgeous deck. I'm really excited to show you the images. This is an independent deck from a seller. I got it on Etsy. This woman is absolutely brilliant. Her artwork is incredible. And I'm going to have a link down below because both of these are indie decks, the Oracle and the El Goliath Tarot deck, these cards. And I would love for you guys to experience them. Sharing them with you is really nice. And I'm very excited to do it. All right, so Oracle for pile 1, for 2, and 3. Okay, guys, put these away. So thank you again for joining me while we prepare the piles and prepare the cards. And if you picked pile 1, we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, pile 1. Let's take a look at your cards. So our first card here, we have the Knight of Swords reversed. This is the hooded brother. You can see he's a cobra kind of facing away. Card 2, the Three of Cups, the Trinity Triangle. And card 3, the Five of Cups, or the Spilt Regret. So, in the context of your oracle card, which is the Shedding Snake, what this is saying to me, first of all, we have our snake here, the hooded brother, the Knight of Swords. Now, the Knight of Swords reversed is a very rash decision maker. He charges in without really thinking ahead. He can be very angry, very aggressive. And some of this anger is coming from disappointment and loneliness. This is part of you that wants to be accepted by other people. And we're going to talk about that with these other 2 cards that have come up. The Three of Cups is the Trinity triangle, and this is togetherness. This is working with others to work magic, to create sacred space for yourselves together, and to join in creating something larger than yourselves through your fellowship and your brotherhood or sisterhood. And finally, the Five of Cups, the spilt regret. That's pretty straightforward. This is all about crying over spilled milk. This is disappointment and being so frustrated and so disappointed that you maybe knock over all the other cups, even though you only knocked over a few to begin with. This is just anger, again, very negative anger kind of situation that's going on here. So what I'm seeing with all of these cards in the context of the shedding snake is our oracle card here, is that you are the hooded brother, you are the Knight of Swords reversed, and your anger is something that you absolutely must let go of as part of your shadow transformation. Now, the important thing about shadow work is that you have to look at parts of yourself that you don't like and that are uncomfortable to look at and really reckon with. And so as we work our shadow, some of the issues that we're going to run into have to do with righteous indignation, feeling like we're better than other people, or that we have to be aggressive towards them to assert dominance or authority. And this is from feeling very vulnerable and feeling very alone, usually. There's nothing wrong with anger as an emotion in general, right? Anger serves a purpose, and it keeps us protected. It helps us hold our boundaries, and it gives you kind of a jolt of energy. So if you're being genuinely, put into danger or attacked somehow, anger is a natural response. But frequently, we have anger in response to things that are not truly attacks and that simply make us feel alone and vulnerable. So this card, this spread for you, is saying that the other people in your life are feeling a little bit pushed away by your anger. And your anger so much right now is coming from your own loneliness and your own struggle to connect with the people around you, even though that is something you very deeply desire, and is something that is very healing for you. Your inner anger and regret is all coming from disappointment with yourself, frustration with yourself, and I am not sure exactly where that frustration comes from in the context of this reading. I think we're going to take a look at the oracle card to see if we can get a little bit more clarity on that. But it's definitely an internal process for you, where you are very, you tend to take things that make you feel vulnerable as an attack when the intent there is not aggressive from the other party. You are dealing with an inner wound that you want to protect because it hurts so much. It's unhealed, and you cannot face it at the moment. And your inability to face it means that when other people poke at it, you freak out, you react very badly. And that is something that is inevitably going to cause people to not be around you. And some of that inner wound is about loneliness, vulnerability. Your oracle card here, we have resistance. And what I'm getting from this is that you have an inner conflict between whether you want to be alone and whether you want to be together with other people. And your cognitive dissonance about this fact is part of what is causing this anger response in you that is troubling and difficult to deal with on the part of other people. So as you, the snake, begin to shed your skin, remember whether you want to be part of a community or whether you want to be alone. It's okay to choose either one of those things, but your resistance to any change right now is what is a huge part of the driver of this conflict, this inner conflict with you versus your shadow. So you can be the snake, but the snake needs to shed its skin. You can be the predator, you can be the aggressor. You can be part of a community too. And both of these things have their benefits and their drawbacks. But here you just need to realize that this anger is not something that you can sit with forever. It's injuring you further, it's hurting you further. It's like trying to get up and walk around with a severe wound. You can do that, and you can kind of force yourself through situations, will yourself through difficulty, but you're going to cause yourself pain and you're going to hurt yourself worse in the long run. So this shedding might feel like you are really taking off your whole skin, right? It's going to make you feel really, really vulnerable. And that's where this resistance is, showing me that the fear here is mainly centered around kind of having to take this protective layer off. But you can't grow without shedding that skin. So, my hooded brother, where are your friends? Can they help you with this? Can you apologize to them and say, I want to be part of, this family or this chosen family, the friend family that is so important to me? Can you let yourself feel like you're getting undressed almost around them? You're not taking everything off. You're just taking off this part of you that has gotten too tight and is now uncomfortable. It's got to come off. So don't be afraid. Don't keep resisting it. You can do it. You can shed this, and you can be part of your community if that's what you choose to do. You can be a lone wolf if that's what you choose to do, or a lone snake, I suppose. No matter what, the anger is not serving you right now. It's not a beneficial emotion, and it is only hurting you in the long run. So you must deal with your anger, and in order to do that, you have to sit down and think about what triggers your anger, what causes you to become unruly or belligerent, these things that make you just react really quickly. So these kind of triggering emotions, these triggering events is something that you have to kind of sit down and analyze. And it would be a really good idea, as with all shadow work, to do some journaling about it. This is really going to help you kind of process and name all of these moments that are bringing up anger within you. And then you can sort of sit and say, well, what was I reminded of? What did it feel like? What did my body feel like when this was happening? And that's really going to help you get to a place where you can look at the source of your anger honestly. And you will then be able to kind of reintegrate the angry part of yourself back into your personality. Because at the moment, it's not helping, but it used to help, and it can help in the future. There's nothing wrong with anger. But there is something wrong with the way that you are experiencing anger and showing anger to other people. So where did that anger really originally come from? What are you protecting? The answer is inside of you. And you will be able to get through it if you put in the work and you start shedding that outer skin, taking off that protective outer layer and really getting vulnerable, not only with yourself, but with the other people around you. Okay, that is the close of our reading for pile 1. Thank you so much for joining me. So pile 1, if you're feeling drawn to more than one set of cards, you can go ahead and stick with me. Or if you're curious what everybody else is looking at, you can go ahead and stick with me. But if you're all done here, I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me again soon. All right, pile 2. We're going to go ahead and take a look at your cards. Card 1. We have the 9 of Swords reversed. I'll pick this up so you can see. Here's our 9 of Swords reversed. Card 2, the Ace of Pentacles. And card 3, the Queen of Swords. All right, so pile 2. I think the 9 of Swords, which says it is the overwhelmed sea turtle, and you can kind of see him here if I hold it upright. Here's our little sea turtle in the midst of a tsunami. Maybe not quite a tsunami, but that's a pretty big wave for a tiny little turtle. And we have our swords up top here. So the 9 of Swords reversed is basically saying that there is a period in your life. It seems to me that it's pretty deep in your past. That is the source of a great deal of anxiety that you are currently trying to heal. You're working pretty hard at healing it. We have the Ace of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords as the remaining cards in your pile. The Ace of Pentacles is about gain in the way of money, things, just earthly goods. This is receiving a lot of blessings in the physical world. It's getting a job that is paying you a lot of money. It is, making good investments. It's the accumulation of wealth in a very physical, financial sense. This is not, spiritual wealth or anything like that, but it is great abundance, right? So we have this old anxiety, this old kind of nightmare, this thing that keeps you up at night still, even though it's long past. And then what I'm seeing here is the attempt to cover it up or to heal it by gaining things. And the process of gaining things allows you to then gain security, or at least it feels that way, right? This is spending money to feel in control. This is, I grew up poor, so, now I have a job where I, make a lot of money. I made sure to, study hard and get the degree, and now I never have to worry about going hungry again. But the old wound is still there. This doesn't fix it. It certainly lessens the anxiety in the current sense, right? You feel a lot safer than you used to, but the safety that you were lacking long, long ago, probably in your childhood, was not just about money and things. And so your process of healing, you do have a bandage on it, right? you have started the process of healing. And as you know, the shaman, the medicine healer, your oracle card here, you are in a lifelong process of attempting to heal this wound. And that is excellent work. It's work that a lot of people are not currently doing. And so you're doing a really good job, and you've done a really good job. But here is where you're getting blocked up, right? Because things are not going to solve this old anxiety and this old fear. There was a safety that you needed that you're trying to bandage up with another form of safety. But a bandage isn't a healed wound. It's just a bandage. And in order to fully let that old wound heal, you have to take the bandage off and let the thing breathe, unfortunately. And that's going to hurt. You know, all shadow work is a little bit painful. And you know that pain as someone who has done so much work trying to heal yourself. And the next card that you have here is the Queen of Swords. So interestingly, the Queen of Swords is really very intelligent. She's very good at logical thinking. She's very good at boundary holding, and she's very good at protecting what she loves and what she cares about and what she feels to be true. You know, the priorities are very well set in her life. And so there is so much in your life that is going right, that you're being so smart about, and that you are really succeeding at. And, you know, the Queen of Swords here, I'm seeing a great connection with these two cards, because your Queen of Swords energy, this person who is so intelligent and determined and driven, is the person, you know, the aspect of yourself that has succeeded in so many areas of life. But your shaman here needs you to uncover all of this surface stuff, because your success didn't fix this problem. This is old. This is old. This is from your childhood. And there is so much fear and anxiety and helplessness and overwhelm, you know? So again, this is the overwhelmed sea turtle. And he's really just in a whole situation. So what is he going to do? That's very unsafe. But I imagine, since we have more cards here, that he lived through it. But there's a great deal of trauma. There's still nightmares about that wave. So your shaman, your inner shaman, needs you to take off all of these trappings and take a real look at what this is. And say, these don't help me. They help me in a lot of other places, but they do not fix this old wound. So you've done a really good job. You are so successful, and you've made yourself a really safe space in this life. But internally, you're still this little turtle. You're still terrified of this wave. And that is something that you are going to need to process from the inside out. Take off that Band-Aid and let that wound really heal. It's going to be very uncomfortable, and it's going to be confusing at first because you don't know where that wound is necessarily. But it is in there, and it's the source of all these kind of late night staring at the ceiling, wondering why you said those things that you did, why you did that, whether or not other people hate you, or think you're silly, or think you're unworthy, or don't love you. And those thoughts about other people are very much thoughts about yourself. Do you love you or do you hate you? A lot of us hate ourselves. It's such a common thing. If you have that problem, which it certainly seems like you do, the shadow and the shadow work that you need to be doing is healing the part of you that doesn't like yourself, that is disappointed with your reaction to this old anxiety and fear. You didn't do it right, or you are convinced that you didn't do it right that time, that your reaction was inadequate and that you couldn't keep yourself safe. Is that true? It might be. But what you're doing here is just covering it up. You're covering it up with money. You're covering it up with intelligence, book learning, being able to assert yourself as the authority in the room whenever you're, in a group of people. But this facade that you have on is not allowing you to kind of uncover this old stuff and really work on that part of your healing. This is deep. You have been doing really good healing work, and I don't want to discount that. This is old and this is deep, and it's going to take some time to really work through. This is not a one shadow season work. This is something that's going to be years in the making, and that's all right. It's good work, and it's work you know how to do. So get to it. Your oracle card is release, and I think this is very fitting. Release here is just saying you can let this go. You can forgive yourself for what happened back then. You did the right thing with the tools that you had at the time. You survived. And what you need to do now is say, I am over that. I'm done with it. And you're probably not going to be ready to say that right away. That's okay. This is just work that needs to be done. If you know how to do shadow work, which I assume you do, since you are the shaman here. If you know how to do shadow work, this is going to be a long process, but it's going to be something that you're very good at doing. Most of the time, folks, if you're trying to do shadow work and you are not familiar with it, you just kind of sit down and start journaling about these feelings. So whatever this old thing is, let's say that you wake up in the middle of the night, you had a nightmare. You need to sit up, turn on your light, and start writing it down. What did you dream about? What did you feel like? What happened? What did you say? What was happening around you? What were other people in the dream saying? And that's where your beginning of doing this work is going to come from. Because based on what I'm seeing here, I don't think you completely know what this is about, but you know there's something there. So the beginning of this is going to be dream work and journaling. And the result of all of this will be your saying to yourself, I release this. I can release this. I am allowed to release this. And it is safe to release this. So pile 2, that's going to be the close of your reading. I want to thank you again for joining me. I hope this reading made sense for you. And you are welcome to stick around if you're curious, or if you just felt drawn to all of the piles, or both piles 2 and 3, feel free to stick around and take a look at the next reading. Thank you again, pile 2, for joining me, and I hope to see you back soon. Okay, pile 3. Thank you for waiting if you have been watching this whole time. I hope you enjoyed each reading. And if you didn't stick around, that's all right. I hope that you get the right message from this reading right now. So, your oracle card, once again, is the Shadow Dream Catcher. So right away, that tells me that this is going to be about some dream work. We had some dream work in pile 2 as well. So if this is something that's making sense to you, I would recommend maybe going back and taking a look at pile 2 as well. But that is very much up to you. Your first card here, we have the Knight of Pentacles, and he is the Aztec Hawk Warrior. Card 2 is the Nine of Wands, Darkness Before Dawn. And finally, we have the Six of Wands. It says it's the El Goliath Hive. Once again, this is the El Goliath Tarot deck. So this is obviously a card that is very special to the creator. And it is beautiful. Look at those honeybees in the magnolia tree. All right. So here I have your Aztec Hawk Warrior, and right away I'm seeing parallels with the dream catcher. For whatever reason, you know, I'm seeing these pentacles, you know, these sort of jewels that are dangling, the beautiful headdress, and these symbols and kind of decoration, the jewels that he's wearing, very much reminding me of this dream catcher imagery, this sort of dangling feathers and the intricate webs. So this is a very protective element. This is an aspect of you that is very plodding, methodical, and slow moving, and very grounded, very centered, and very capable, right? This is a really calm, rational, and grounded person. So interestingly, your rational and grounded self is very well connected to your subconscious self, your dream self. So I'm seeing that this protector is part of a dream catching element for you. This is your ability to take the bad things, the gross things, the uncomfortable things that are kind of flowing into or through your subconscious at night, and catch them and just kind of flick them away. Now, the darkness before dawn is telling me that even though you've gotten very good at protecting yourself from what's going on in your dreams, and when bad things happen or negative things happen, come up in your dreams, you are able to push them away. But there is part of that darkness and that dream time that you can't quite escape from, and that you can't quite push away, and that the catcher doesn't catch. So this darkness is right now, in this very shadow season, this fall, something that you're going to have to be facing and dealing with. And it's not even a matter of whether or not you're going to sit down and start doing this shadow work. It's happening. It's happening whether you like it or not. This darkness that you can't kick out of your dreams, it's coming in to tell you something. And it's coming in to tell you something very big. You know, this is a deep, wordless kind of gut experience. And your internal self is telling you something that you should not ignore, you should not be pushing away, that you should not be trying to catch. You have to take that late night stuff and let it come through. It's coming through anyway. But when it does come through, your response to it should not be, gosh, I didn't catch it. I didn't push it away in time. I'm somehow inadequate. I'm not doing the right stuff. I've, fallen off of my practice perhaps, or just haven't been succeeding at this thing that I'm normally very good at. This is coming in because you have to look at it. You have to look at it. And so it's okay to tell yourself, this came through because it's a sign. This fear and this darkness and this anxiety came through because I absolutely have to look at it, because if I don't, I am probably going to be vulnerable or put in danger somehow. So your gut feelings are trying to come through, and they're trying to tell you something that you really should not ignore. The Six of Wands, your final card, is the Goliath Hive. And the Six of Wands is a really powerful victory card. And both of these cards here obviously are wands. We have our darkness before dawn, this thing that you absolutely have to look at. And then right away, immediately, we have victory. So what this is saying to me is that as this comes through, it's giving you a message that you must look at in order to come out on top, in order to succeed. And you are already very well set up to do that, because you're already filtering out all of the other junk, right? All of the other stupid stuff that's coming through that you don't need to deal with. Boom, boom, boom. You're very good at just flicking that away. This you can't flick away, and you're not supposed to be able to. This is something you must look at. So whatever this fear is that's coming up for you late at night in your dreams, it's important. And your inner self is trying to tell you that it is very important. Your Six of Wands is just kind of guaranteeing, I don't want to say guaranteeing, it's telling you that you're very well set up for success, and that everything is working in your favor right now for you to succeed. The only thing you have to do is say to yourself, oh yeah, this is important. I should not ignore this. And the fact that I didn't catch it and that I didn't ignore it means that my body, my mind, they're doing the right thing. They're protecting me. And you will inevitably be able to not only overcome this issue, but to really very much come out on top. There's knowledge within you that is going to help you take advantage of this situation that might otherwise be difficult or uncomfortable, or I don't want to say dangerous in the sense of like you getting physically harmed in some way, but dangerous perhaps to your ego, your sense of self, your healing process, right? This is something that could be damaging to you, but you absolutely do not have to let that happen. And the only thing you have to do is acknowledge that this is important. It's not something to just push away. Your oracle card is the Cosmos. And the Cosmos is really just saying, again, that this is divine knowledge. This thing that you're coming up against, this sort of gut feeling that you're having, this is the divine coming to you through your dreams and telling you something very, very, very important. And so the only thing, again, that you must do in this situation is to say, yes, that is important. Yes, let me look at that seriously as a real thing that I need to pay attention to. What is this sign that I'm getting? Because this is your deity. This is the divine. This is source reaching out to you to give you a special and important message. What is it? You're the only one who knows. You've seen it, and you'll see it again. You're dreaming about it. So, what are your dreams telling you? What your dreams are telling you is what the divine is telling you. And so it's okay to let yourself look at it and take it very seriously. So pile 3, that is the close of your reading. Thank you so much for joining me. I really enjoy reading for all of you guys. If you stuck around for the whole series, thank you very much. I hope that this gave you some guidance for this shadow work season. And obviously, with any reading like this, because it's a general pick a card, there's going to be a lot of what ifs and a lot of maybes. So please take what resonates and just toss away the rest. You don't need it. So again, thank you so much. We'll be doing one of these regularly, at least once a week. Enjoy your shadow season, and I will see you again soon. Bye, guys.